being a CEO is totally different. I was a CTO before, but being a CEO, it has a responsibility that you need to bring the food to the people, and you need to think, and there is no someone that you can count on. And this is a different way of thinking, and more responsibility in a way. Um, uh, but uh, but I think that with that it comes with uh, the ability to make things your way, and this is what's fun about it.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Illuminate, and sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and Birthright Excel. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. Today I am joined by David Drai, co-founder and CEO of Anodot. CEO and co-founder David started Anodot out of his frustration with not being able to get real-time insights in spite of having access to real-time big data. With Anodot, he stands committed to helping companies from digital to fintech to telecom illuminate business blind spots with AI analytics. He previously was CTO at Gett, an app-based transportation service used in hundreds of cities worldwide. Prior to Gett, he co-founded Cotendo, a content delivery network and site acceleration services provider that was acquired by Akamai Technologies, where he also served as CTO. David Drai, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders, co-founder and CEO of Anodot. How are you?
Michael, I'm happy to be here. How are you?
I'm really excited to talk to a chief dashboard officer. And I'm excited to talk to somebody who was injured by a printer. I'm going to have to hear that story a little bit. And I want to hear also the story of how you were working at a gas station in middle school, from being in a gas station, working in a gas station, to being the chief technology officer of one of my favorite companies, Gett, which I use like 15 times a day, to now being the co-founder and CEO of Anodot and helping businesses monitor autonomously their revenues, customer experience, and everything in between. David, who are you? You're a man of many hats.
Hi, how are you, Michael? So yes, if you talked about the gas station, so I will tell you it was a nice story. I wanted a radio double cassette at that time, if you remember. I don't know if you remember. You are too young for that. But I really wanted a radio double cassette, and my parent told me, you need to work. I was looking for a job. I will say that since then, probably I have this kind of entrepreneurship mentality. And I found this place, and I was actually in charge of filling gas station for gas for army vehicles. It was separate gas, different gas than the regular one. Yeah, interesting times since then. So regarding being the city of Gett, actually it was many water under the bridge until I arrived to that situation. I was many years in the Air Force in technology. I studied in Technion Institute, BSc, and then I was chief architect, developer, chief architect of a company named Contouch, great company that I remember for good memories. And after that, I started my first venture with Cotendo around CDN. Sold it to Akamai. We sold it to Akamai after 4.5 years. It was really a good success. And later on, I took a break. And then I decided to be a kind of consultant. My friend that was at that time VP of R&D there tell me, David, instead of just surfing into the beach, let's surf into also the internet with us. So yeah, I started there. It was a very interesting experience, 1 year. And people called me there actually the chief dashboard officer because I was always on the business data, always on the business data. However, my frustration was we understood the business. We understood the business with dashboards. And, it was a long time ago. It was 7 years ago. And at that time, collecting data was not, I would say, the most advanced thing that you could see in the market. At that time, Snowflake was a nice startup, and Redshift was starting to grow significantly, but still collecting data was not so well mature. And what we saw is that the more we collected data and tried to collect data, the less we know about the business. And then I started to ask myself, how come? Why? And the conclusion was actually that I'm trying to understand that with human, with people, with my eyes, with BI people that are looking in dashboards with their eyes. We are not doing something intelligent here. We are just looking at graph and hoping that we will get conclusion from the charts that something wrong is happening, all right, but there is a change. And I was saying to myself, okay, it must be different. We need to do this in a different way. Why not putting a kind of something more intelligent, machine learning? And I was not an expert, and I'm not an expert in machine learning. However, I say, why not to put a machine learning that will learn that and will learn at its scale, will not be rely on my eyes. If I'm going now to eat something, so it will still track and detect, and this is how we started Anodot. Actually, I met at that time Ira. Ira was the chief data scientist in HP in Israel. Uh, and he's the guy behind the intelligent part of the machine learning and all this stuff. And I asked him, is it doable? So he, as a data scientist, say, of course. This is how we started. And since
Tell me a
then,
little bit about
yeah.
the founding of Anodot, a serial entrepreneur with great success from before, working as a executive technology officer in other companies, seeing the world in a different light, coming back from sort of a break, but not really break, because during that break you were investing in some of the most amazing companies like Papaya Global. But what is it like then going back to the drawing board, sitting in a room with the first 3, 4 people, and going on this whole adventure again together?
For me, it was, I will say, very exciting. First of all, when I created this startup, I say to myself that this time I want to make it in a bit different way, in a different culture. And I'm happy to see that this DNA that I put in this company has been a success. People are coming. I'm very happy. We are trying to build a company in an environment without crazy stress, and to enjoy from what we are doing. And this is amazing. I'm enjoying from every minute that I'm here in the company. I can tell you that when we started, it was like a new baby. Uh, you have the first baby, you are very excited, and you have the second, and it's not less excited than the first one. And it was a really an amazing experience. I will tell you more than that. That this time I was a CEO, and being a CEO is totally different. I was a CTO before, but being a CEO, it has a responsibility that you need to bring the food to the people, and you need to think, and there is no someone that you can count on. And this is a different way of thinking, and more responsibility in a way. But I think that with that it comes with uh, the ability to make things your way. And this is what's fun about it.
I love it. Going back to business intelligence, making decisions not by humans but by computers. Where paint me a picture of the landscape we're at today, with businesses that are
Yes.
customers of Anodot. How does
Yes.
Anodot go in and change the way decisions are being made on a business level, whether it's on the observability level or whether it's on the actionability level?
Okay, so today, if you look at the typical companies, most of them are becoming what we call data driven businesses. If you look at all the segments, all the vertical, from gaming, edtech, fintech, banks, telcos, all of them have the same principle. They all are going towards collecting huge amount of data and trying to be as much as possible efficient on the data, on the business data that they are collecting. Now, in all these companies, you will see, of course, all kinds of visualization, Tableau, Looker, whatever, all kinds of visualization tools to understand what we like to call the what is happening. And then to try to understand whenever something interesting is happening, you try to investigate. You try to drill down in the data, maybe to export it to CSV file. And let me give you an example because I think that an example can it's worth 1,000 words. So imagine that you are an e-commerce and you now are selling thousands of products, a successful e-commerce all over the world. People are very happy buying from you. And now you want to track your business. You want to say that to see that everything in every hour is correct, is working as planned. So what you will do, you will track the revenues, you will track the number of purchase in every country, right? And then you will say, okay, but let's check also not in just by country, but let's check it also by devices. Maybe in iOS, I'm selling more, maybe in Android, and so on. And then if you take all this combination of thousands of products in dozens of countries and dozens of devices, or even more, you will see that it's impossible to track them. And we're talking about two KPIs, maybe orders and revenues. And now you ask yourself, how can you track it? So, what usually people are doing, they will say, okay, let's focus on the most important KPI. But the main problem is that in the needle of the haystack, if you are collecting the number of sales drop, revenue drop that you have over there, you are accumulating them over the year. We are talking about millions, millions of dollars that are there without any way to look at that in any way. And this is what exactly Anodot is doing. Anodot is going to the needle in the haystack, to the bottom of the iceberg, looking at all the data, analyzing all the data, analyzing when are the holidays. If now you have a spike, is it because Black Friday or because a massive campaign? If now you have a drop in sales, is it because your competitor maybe did a campaign and your audience moved to there? Or is it because you have a bug in the new application that you cannot buy anymore and people are not buying and now you have a drop in that sales? So I give you an example in e-commerce, but the same happen in fintech, like in transaction. The same happen in gaming, in in-app purchase, in daily active users, and all the KPI that those companies are collecting.
Do companies get it immediately? Do they get the problem? Do they get the way that Anodot is thinking through giving them a solution? Because transitioning from human oriented, creating dashboards. I mean, I remember talking to a lot of people. Like one of my professors from Stanford was the founder of Tableau, and I remember talking about
Oh,
how to get people to transition their train of thought from Excel to these dashboards. You are the chief dashboard officer. How receptive are people to this idea that now algorithms are going to be able to give them information that their employees may not be able to?
so excellent question. I will say that users get it more than, let's say, when we started, for sure. from two reasons. One, we didn't explain it very well at that time, and now we are explaining it much better. And two, I will say that the market is more mature. When you see this evolution of Snowflake that become an amazing company, $98 billion revenue. You see Databricks, $50 billion revenue, huge success. And now the data become more and more mature. You see more and more data ops, FinOps. You see more business ops titles. And this is where the market is going. The market want to know immediately what is happening there in my business. And now when you tell them that you have a solution that can analyze, understand your anomalies, forecast your revenues, then they understand it much better than before. More than that, the way that we convince usually is to say, don't believe the AI because there is a lot of skepticism in the AI. I can understand why, by the way, because there were so many solutions that say that, there was a kind of AI buzz. And the problem is that when you do a real AI, now how to convince that you are not just a buzz. Now, what we say, okay, don't believe to what I'm saying. Just bring us the data, bring us the historical data that you have, and we will find all the money that you are leaving there, millions of dollars that you are leaving there for years, and we are able to find and to detect you. And this is how we do usually a POC with historical data. And we build the product in a way that you can inject historical data, bring the value, and then go live with the product.
Amazing. David, take me back a little bit in time. As a kid, elementary school, middle school, while you were working at the gas station, what sparks your curiosity? What fascinates you really as a kid, whether it's in the sciences and the humanities in the world, what really gets your brain going?
First of all, I will tell you, I was born in France. Okay, I'm speaking French. I was born in France, and I remember myself since I was a very little kid in technology. I really liked electronic at that time. I was exposed very late to computers and programming. We were not a rich, let's say, a family. It was not like today that every kid have a laptop, an iPhone, an iPad, and so on. So we were quite modest. I didn't have a computer at home, but with the time I was exposed to more computer, but at the beginning to electronic, and all the time I was very fascinated about that area. I can tell you a secret that I'm a kind of soccer player. I was a soccer player. Okay, I am a soccer player that played with the most tough, people in the society. Uh, and in parallel, I was a nerd in electronic and computer. So this mixture is a bit strange. Um, and when I was 13, I built a radio transmitter that I could speak and people could listen in the radio. So I was tricking my family that I spoke to the radio, all kind of trick like that. And yeah, it was funny because at that time it was, you know, I remember that I wrote a small program that uh, song, sing a song in, well, I think it was Pascal or something like that. And I sing a song to my mother and look what I created for you and, nerd stuff like that.
David, I love it. I love the journey. I love, the retrospective looking back at yourself and the things that you care about and how you view the world and how businesses should view the world. And, the approach from being chief dashboard officer to what you're doing today and, the way that you're going through the POCs and that you're proving, what the product can do and the vision for where we're headed as a vertical and, in general, how businesses are going to be making decisions. I love it. Thank you very, very much. Best of
Thank
luck
you
with
very much.
Anodot and with everything else, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Michael. Bye bye.
Thank you.